She said he was just a friend. I believed her, until one voicemail played in my car and I realized I was the only one still loyal. I was sitting in my car when the voicemail played. "I miss you," her voice said. "I hate pretending." I stared at the dashboard. "Pretending about what?" I whispered, even though she couldn't hear me. The engine was off. The street was quiet. My phone felt heavier than it should have. I replayed the message. "I told him you were just a coworker," she said, laughing softly. "I'm so tired of lying." My chest tightened. "You told me you hated lies," I said to the empty seat beside me. Her voice kept going, casual, intimate. "I'll see you tonight. Same place." I ended the voicemail. My hands were shaking. "Same place?" I asked out loud. I leaned back and closed my eyes. Earlier that day she had kissed my cheek and said, "Drive safe. Call me when you get home." I had smiled and replied, "I always do." Now those words sounded fake. Rehearsed. I pressed my forehead to the steering wheel. "No," I said. "This isn't real." I opened our message thread. I scrolled. "Good morning, love. Miss you already. Can't wait to see you." I laughed once, sharp and ugly. "You sent these while you were lying to me." I called her. It rang. Voicemail. "Hey, it's me," her recorded voice said. "Leave a message." I didn't. I hung up and breathed slowly. There has to be an explanation, I told myself. There always is. My phone buzzed. A text from her. "Home yet?" "Yes," I typed, then deleted it. "No," I typed, then erased that too. I whispered, "Who are you texting right now?" I remembered last week. "Why are you so distant?" I had asked. She had sighed. "I'm just stressed. Can you not make this a thing?" "I'm not making it a thing," I had said. "I just miss you." She had replied, "You're overthinking again." The memory burned. I wasn't overthinking, I said to the dark car. I was noticing. Another memory surfaced. "He's just a friend," she had said quickly. "You're the only one I love." I clenched my jaw. "You practiced that line," I said. "Didn't you?" My phone buzzed again. "Why aren't you answering?" she texted. I typed, "Who is he?" Then I froze. I deleted it. I rested my head back and stared at the roof. "If I ask, everything ends," I said. "If I don't, I already know." I played the voicemail one last time. "I hate pretending," her voice repeated. I whispered, "I loved you honestly." The realization landed quietly. Not like a scream. More like a door closing. I wasn't crazy, I said. I was loyal. I started the engine. I don't know what happens next, I told myself. But I know this. I put the phone face down. "I loved you," I said. "You didn't love me the same." I sat there, breathing through the ache in my chest. "Maybe I misunderstood," I said. "Maybe it was old." I checked the timestamp. "Tonight." "No," I whispered. "Not tonight." I imagined her voice saying, "You know I love you." I answered aloud, "You don't talk like that to someone you love." My phone buzzed again. "Please answer," she wrote. I typed, "I need a minute." Then I erased it. I shook my head. If I answer, I have to pretend too. I laughed softly. I won't do that. I remembered promising myself, I'll never beg for honesty. I stared at the windshield. I kept my promise, I said. A tear slipped down my cheek. This hurts, I admitted. I wiped my face. But it won't break me. I pictured tomorrow. You'll call, I said. You'll explain. I nodded once. And I'll listen. I paused. Then I'll choose myself. I exhaled. I already am. I picked up the phone and turned it over. Not tonight, I told the screen. I remembered the way she used to say, "We tell each other everything." I whispered, "We didn't." The streetlight flickered. "I see clearly now," I said. My hands stopped shaking. "That's how I know," I added. I started to drive. "I loved honestly," I repeated. "And I won't unlearn that." I pulled away slowly. "This is denial," I told myself. "But it feels like survival." I kept driving. "I can breathe," I said. The phone stayed silent. "So will I," I added. I drove home. "Tomorrow changes," I said. Tonight I just held on. I wasn't loved, but I was real. And for now, that had to be. I remember the first night we talked like it mattered. "Sit," she said, patting the couch. "Tell me something real." "I don't know what you want to hear," I said. She smiled. "The truth." I laughed. "Then you should go first." "Okay," she said. "I'm scared of being ordinary." "That's not ordinary," I replied. "That's honest." She leaned closer. "You won't leave?" "I don't run," I said. "I stay." She rested her head on my shoulder. "I like safe." "So do I told her. We became that. Safe. Predictable in a way that felt earned. "Did you eat?" she used to ask. "Not yet." "I'll wait on the phone," she said. "Go eat." I teased, "You're not my mom." She answered, "Someone has to care." My friends noticed. "You're different," Mark said. "Better?" I asked. "Calmer," he replied. "Like you trust her." "I do," I said without thinking. At dinner she squeezed my hand. "We're boring," she whispered. I smiled. "The good kind." "Promise we won't mess this up," she said. "I promise to try," I answered. She frowned. "That's not the same." "I promise to be honest," I said. She nodded. "That's better." Late nights were quiet. "Tell me your worst thought," she said. "I worry I'm not enough," I admitted. She replied, "You're more than enough for me." I believed her. She told me stories. "I hate liars." "I do too," I said. "Then we're perfect," she laughed. We made plans that sounded small. "Sunday groceries," she said. "And tacos," I added. "And laundry," she groaned. "I'll fold," I offered. She kissed my cheek. "Marry me already." I joked, "Careful." She said, "I'm serious." I paused. "Me too." Friends toasted us. "To the solid ones," her sister said. I raised my glass. "To showing up." She whispered, "Always." Looking back, the cracks were whispers. "Why are you quiet?" I asked one night. "Just tired," she said quickly. "Do you want space?" I asked. "No," she replied. "I want us." I accepted that answer. Another night I asked, "Who keeps texting?" She shrugged. "Work stuff." I said, "At midnight?" She sighed. "Don't start." "I'm not starting," I said. "I'm asking." She touched my arm. "Trust me." "I do," I said. That was my mistake. I mistook comfort for truth. I mistook consistency for loyalty. I mistook love for proof. Now I replay her laugh. "You're safe with me," she used to say. I answer the memory. I was. I remember thinking love made me stronger. It didn't make me weak. It made me open. And open people bleed quietly. "We're fine," she used to insist. I said, "I believe you." She asked, "Why do you need reassurance?" I replied, "Because I care." She smiled. "That's sweet." I thought, "That's dangerous," but I didn't say it. My phone would buzz and she'd say, "Ignore it." I asked, "Is something wrong?" She answered, "Nothing you need to worry about." I nodded. "Okay." I kept nodding. Friends warned me gently. Don't lose yourself, Mark said. I won't, I answered. He replied, love shouldn't shrink you. I feel bigger, I said. He studied me. Then keep checking. I didn't. At night she asked, are you happy? Yes, I said. She asked again, really? Yes, I repeated. She said, good. I said, what about you? She paused. I'm content. I didn't hear the difference. I told her, I trust you. She replied, you always do. I laughed. That's love. She kissed me. Exactly. Looking back, I hear it clearly. I was offering safety. She was asking for escape. She once said, promise me we'll talk if things change. I said, I'm right here. She smiled softly. You're good to me. I answered, I choose you. She replied, I know. That should have scared me. I mistook confidence for certainty. I remember telling her, I don't need perfection. She said, then don't expect it. I laughed. I expect honesty. She went quiet. Of course. I didn't ask why her voice shifted. I just said, I trust us. She said, us is strong. I believe that too. Now those words hurt. I repeat them anyway. Us is strong, I say alone. The silence answers. I finally understand. Safety without truth is just delay. And I delayed the pain. I wasn't wrong to love. I was wrong to ignore myself. That night in the car proved it. This chapter begins with warmth. It ends with a bruise I hadn't noticed. You'll be okay, I told myself. I answered, I hope so. The past stayed quiet. The loss got louder. I held the memories gently. They broke anyway. I didn't know then. I know now. This is how love starts to hurt. It didn't warn me. I was listening late. Too late. I learned the hard way. I'm just tired, she said. Tired of what? I asked. Everything, she replied. I nodded even though it didn't explain why she stopped calling me first. You've been quiet lately, I said. I've always been like this, she said quickly. No, you haven't, I said. She sighed. Why are you starting things? I'm not starting anything, I said. I'm asking. You're overthinking again, she said. That word again. Again. I just feel like something's off, I said. Nothing is off, she said. You're imagining problems. I'm not imagining how distant you feel, I said. She laughed softly. You're being dramatic. That laugh stayed with me longer than the conversation. Did I do something wrong? I asked. No, she said, sharper now. But you're making it wrong. I swallowed. So this is my fault? I didn't say that, she said. But you didn't say it wasn't, I replied. Silence pressed against my ear. You need to trust me, she finally said. I do, I said. I just. Then stop interrogating me, she cut in. I apologized without knowing what for. Okay, I said. I'm sorry. She relaxed instantly. See? That's all. All. The next night, her phone buzzed while she was showering. Can you check who that is? She yelled. I froze. Are you sure? Yes, she said. The screen lit up. A name I didn't recognize. Who is Alex? I asked when she came back. She didn't look surprised. A coworker. You never mentioned him, I said. Why would I? She said. I don't know, I replied. We usually talk about coworkers. Not every single one, she said. His name pops up a lot, I said. She narrowed her eyes. Are you checking my phone now? You told me to, I said. That doesn't give you permission to analyze, she snapped. I'm not analyzing, I said. I'm noticing. You notice too much, she said. Something inside me shrank. I just want honesty, I said quietly. I am being honest, she said. Then why does it feel like I'm always guessing? Because you don't trust yourself, she replied. That hurt more than if she'd blamed me outright. I trust myself, I said. Then act like it, she said. I started keeping things to myself after that. How was your day? She asked one night. Fine, I said. See, she smiled. That wasn't hard. I smiled back, even though it felt wrong. Days blurred. Conversations shortened. You're quiet, she said. So are you, I replied. I'm busy, she said. With Alex? I asked before I could stop myself. Her face hardened. There you go again. I'm just asking, I said. No, you're accusing, she said. I'm scared, I admitted. She scoffed. That's not my problem. I stared at the floor. I didn't choose to feel this way, I said. But you choose to make it my responsibility, she replied. I apologized again. I don't want to fight, I said. Then stop creating fights, she said. Later, alone, I replayed her words. You're overthinking. You're insecure. You're dramatic. I started believing them. When Alex's name came up again, I didn't ask. My chest tightened instead. Everything okay? She asked. Yeah, I said. I meant no. Fear didn't arrive loudly. It whispered. I didn't plan to see it. I wasn't even looking for it. My hand hovered over her phone on the counter. She'd left it unlocked, a careless mistake I'd never imagined would matter. The notification flashed, can't wait to see you tonight, face blowing a kiss, a name I didn't recognize. My chest froze. Hey, I said, trying to sound casual when she walked in. Who's Jason? She looked up from her bag, eyebrows raising. Jason? What are you talking about? The text, I said, voice barely steady. It says you can't wait to see him tonight. She laughed lightly, too easily. Oh, that? It's nothing. Just a coworker being flirty, joking around. You're reading too much into it. I'm not, I started, but my voice faltered. You are, she cut in. You're always imagining the worst. I swear, sometimes I wonder if you even trust me at all. I just want to understand, I said, gripping the counter. My hands shook. Why are messages like this showing up? She stepped closer, a hand on my shoulder. Because you overthink everything. You're insecure. It's exhausting. Insecure? I echoed, disbelief threading my words. I thought we trusted each other. We do, she said, eyes narrowing slightly. But you twist little things into huge problems. That's on you, not me. I wanted to argue, to demand the truth, but her words landed with a weird weight, like sandbags in my chest. I swallowed hard. Okay, maybe I'm overthinking. I'm sorry. Thank you, she said, smoothing my hair as if I were a child. See? Nothing to worry about. But the text burned in my mind. Jason. That name. It had appeared before, subtle, sometimes in a message she left on the kitchen counter, sometimes in a call she hurriedly ended when I walked in. Each time, I pushed it aside. I told myself I was imagining things. I told myself she loved me. Later, I sat on the couch, trying to shake the feeling. My phone buzzed, it was a voicemail from her. I hesitated, then pressed play. Her voice floated through the speakers, soft, casual, a little breathless. Can't wait to see you tonight. I love when we're alone, don't tell anyone. The line went dead. My throat closed. I didn't move for a long time. The room was too quiet, too familiar. Every laugh we'd shared, every whispered, I love you, suddenly felt rehearsed, like lines from a play I'd never auditioned for. My stomach twisted. My hands felt clammy. She appeared in the doorway, her expression unreadable. You're awfully quiet. Everything okay? I heard the voicemail, I said, voice flat. Who is he? Her shoulders tensed. What voicemail? The one, just now. You left it on my phone somehow. You said. I didn't leave anything, she interrupted, panic threading her words. You're imagining it. Stop twisting things, please. I'm not imagining, I whispered. I heard you. I know what you said. Her eyes flickered, a brief flash of something raw, maybe guilt, maybe fear, before she forced calm. You're being ridiculous. Really? You think I would never, you know I love you. You say you love me, I said, voice breaking. But these messages, these calls, they're not love. They're lies. I told you, it's nothing, she insisted, stepping closer. I swear, I didn't mean anything by it. I wanted to reach out, to hold her, but my hands were frozen. The truth was sharper than my desire. I felt my heart hollowing out. Nothing? I repeated, bitter. Then why can't you just let me see? Just once, explain. Her eyes darted away. Because you wouldn't understand. You'd blow it out of proportion. I deserve to understand. My voice rose. I trusted you. Silence. Her mouth opened, then closed. She said nothing. I realized, with a sinking clarity, that she couldn't give me the answer I needed. The words would never come. And in that silence, heavier than any argument, the truth settled like ash in my chest. She stepped back, finally. You're making me feel attacked. I don't know what else to say. I didn't respond. I couldn't. I stayed quiet. The emptiness stretched between us, deafening. My world had shifted in the space of one careless message, one unfinished confession. The trust I'd held, the security I'd believed in, had been stolen, quietly, methodically. And I understood something terrifying, I had loved honestly. I had believed in her completely. But I wasn't loved honestly back. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just sat there, numb, listening to the faint hum of the refrigerator, the ticking clock, the soft, unremarkable noises of our apartment. And I realized that sometimes, the truth doesn't knock. It doesn't warn you. It breaks in, and when it does, all the warmth, all the safety, all the quiet certainty you ever had can vanish in an instant. I didn't move for hours. I didn't speak. I just let it settle, the hollow, terrible weight of betrayal. I waited in the living room, my hands gripping the edge of the coffee table, knuckles white. She walked in, calm, as if nothing had happened. Can we talk? I asked. My voice was low, steady, though my chest felt like it had been hollowed out. Sure, she said, sitting on the couch, crossing her legs. About what? You know, I said, keeping my eyes on her, about everything. She smiled, small, tight. Everything? That's a lot to cover. You mean, the Jason thing? Yes, I said, and the single word was heavy. Jason. And the texts. The calls. The voicemail. I told you it meant nothing, she said, shrugging. You just can't let things go, can you? I can't let it go, I said, voice rising slightly. Because it wasn't nothing. I heard the voicemail. I know what I heard. You're imagining it, she said, leaning back, arms crossed. Really, Hamza. You always take things the wrong way. You twist them until they're scary. I'm not imagining it, I said. I need the truth. Have you been seeing him? She blinked, then laughed softly, like it was a joke. Seeing him? No. But, okay, maybe I did go out with him once. I didn't think it mattered. You were always so dramatic about nothing. Once? I echoed, incredulous. Once? So every text, every message, every late call, what was that? I told you, he's a coworker. He flirts. I flirted back. It didn't mean anything. You're overreacting, as usual. I'm not overreacting. I shouted. Do you have any idea what this feels like? To hear you say things like that? It's not my fault you can't handle insecurity, she said, shrugging again. You make everything about yourself. I told you, you're dramatic. I was just having fun. You know, harmless fun. Fun? I laughed bitterly, voice shaking. Fun? That's your word for betraying me? For rewriting reality so it looks like I'm the problem? I didn't rewrite anything, she said sharply. I'm honest with myself. You can't handle the truth about how people feel sometimes. That's your weakness, not mine. My weakness? I said, feeling my stomach knot. You're sitting there, admitting it, and somehow it's my weakness? I loved you honestly, every second of it. I trusted you completely. And you, I swallowed, trying to keep my voice from breaking. You did all of this, and somehow it's on me. You're taking this the wrong way, she said, calm now, almost too calm. I didn't hurt you. You're hurt because you think you own people, think you control feelings. You can't. That's on you. I trusted you, I said again, quieter this time, almost to myself. I trusted you. And it doesn't matter. You rewrote everything so I'd believe I was overthinking, insecure, dramatic. That's not love. That's manipulation. You're being unfair, she said, frowning. You don't understand. You never understand. I never wanted to hurt you, but you make it impossible to be honest with yourself or anyone. I'm done, I said suddenly, surprising even myself. The words hit the room like a stone. I'm done trying to untangle your lies, done trying to convince myself I misheard, done trying to live in a reality you can twist at will. I can't do this anymore. You're overreacting, she said, voice rising slightly. You don't mean that. You'll forgive me. You always do. No, I said firmly, standing up. Not this time. I can't. I trusted you. I gave you everything. And you erased it all like it was nothing. I'm done. You're really serious? She asked, incredulous. Her eyes searched mine, like she couldn't quite believe it. You're leaving over this? After everything? You can't mean that. I mean it, I said, stepping closer, letting the words land, heavy, final. I loved you honestly. But you weren't honest with me. And I can't live in a world where my love is used against me, where my feelings are a weapon in your hands. I'm done. Her mouth opened, closed, then opened again. You can't just walk away. We can fix this. We always fix things. I'll explain everything. Just, don't do this. I've heard enough explanations, I said, voice calm now, almost eerily calm. I've listened to the half-truths, the justifications, the shifting blame. I've realized you didn't just cheat. You rewrote reality to protect yourself. And I can't be part of that anymore. You're being dramatic, she said again. Her voice cracked slightly now, a hint of desperation. You're overreacting. You'll come back. You always do. No, I said, shaking my head. Not this time. Not ever again. She leaned back, eyes wide, disbelieving. You don't mean that. You can't. You love me. I did, I said, voice breaking, but steady enough. I did. But loving you isn't enough when you don't love me back. I have to leave. For me. For my own sanity. She stared at me, silent, as if silence could undo all the words, all the betrayal, all the late nights of doubt and pain. I turned and walked out the door. I didn't look back. The conversation that ended us had ended, not with a scream, not with a fight, but with truth, quiet and brutal, leaving nothing behind but clarity. I woke up to silence, or maybe the absence of her voice. My phone buzzed, a message from Omar. I stared at it for a long time before opening. Are you alive? He typed. Barely, I replied. I figured. You're supposed to be asleep hours ago. Coffee? Yeah. Needed, I typed back, pressing send. My apartment felt too empty, like the walls themselves were mocking me. When I met him at the cafe, he didn't hug me. He didn't pretend to be gentle. He just looked at me, eyebrows raised. Wow, he said. You look like hell. Did you sleep at all? I might have nodded off at 3. Maybe 4, I said, staring at my coffee. Not sure. Not sure, he said, smirking slightly. Hamza, you're a mess. And you're dramatic. I looked up at him, bitter. I've been called worse. By her. Ah, he said, nodding. Of course. She called you dramatic. Yeah. Gaslighting 101, I muttered. And somehow, I'm the problem. You've got a choice, he said, leaning forward, elbows on the table. You can either wallow in this forever, or you can accept she's gone, and stop punishing yourself. Stop punishing myself? I laughed bitterly. Omar, you don't get it. I trusted her. I loved her. And now, it's all gone. Not just her, but me. The me that trusted. That believed in us. Good, he said sharply. Then mourn that version of you. But don't mourn her. I can't help it, I said, voice low. Even the sound of her name makes me feel hollow. I know, he said softly. And you will. For a while. But you'll also notice, you're still here. Breathing. You'll survive this. Trust me. I don't feel like surviving, I admitted, running a hand through my hair. I just exist. You exist now. That's step 1, he said. Step 2 is not calling her, not texting, not waiting for some imaginary apology that'll never come. Step 3 is remembering you're worth more than a half-truth. I laughed without humor. Step 3 hurts the most. Because it's true, he said. And you hated the truth when it was coming from her, right? I nodded. Yes. I hated it. I hated myself for believing her. For thinking I was enough. You were, he said. But that version of her didn't see it. That's on her, not you. I sat back, eyes on my coffee, silent for a long time. Friends had already started choosing sides. Some called me weak. Others whispered that she's just a complicated person. I didn't want their voices. I didn't want anyone's voices. Just Omar's blunt honesty. She was someone I thought I knew, I murmured finally. And now, I don't know anyone. Not her. Not me. You'll get to know yourself again, he said. New rules. New boundaries. New everything. You won't be that naive guy again. Not if you follow my advice. I wanted to argue, to tell him I didn't want advice, I wanted her back. But I couldn't. Not when his words were the only anchor in the chaos. Do you ever stop thinking about them? I asked quietly, almost afraid of the answer. No, he said. Not really. You don't erase someone from your memory overnight. You just learn to live with it. Learn that you can still breathe, still laugh, still live without them. I can't laugh yet, I said. Everything feels muted. That's grief, he said. It's not supposed to be fast. It's not supposed to be clean. And it's loud, even when it's quiet. You'll feel it in your bones. I feel it everywhere, I admitted. And I hate it. Good, he said simply. Hate it. Then let it go. Slowly. One day at a time. I nodded, trying to absorb that, though I wasn't sure how. I walked home later, streets empty, lights flickering. My apartment welcomed me with the same hollow quiet. I sat on the couch, hands clasped, thinking about the version of me she left behind. I wasn't sure if I'd find him again, the me that trusted without doubt, laughed without hesitation, loved without fear. Maybe he was gone forever. But I also realized I could be someone new. Stronger, quieter, aware. Not naive. Not blind. I whispered her name once, then didn't again. The sound felt heavy. I let it fade. The silence was loud, yes, but it wasn't cruel. It was honest. And for the first time in nights, I felt present. I picked up my phone but didn't call her. Instead, I texted Omar. Thanks. For everything. Can't do this alone. Never alone, he replied instantly. And for the first time, I believed it. I woke up later than usual, sunlight cutting through the blinds like it didn't care about my grief. My phone was on the nightstand, untouched. I didn't check her name. Not yet. Not today. Morning, sleepyhead, my sister texted. Morning, I typed back. Then added, almost to myself, I feel different today. Different how? She replied immediately. Not anxious. Not waiting. Just, okay, I said. She sent a laughing emoji. Finally. Took long enough. I smiled. That small exchange felt heavier than any conversation with her ever had. Later, I met Omar for coffee again. He didn't ask about her at first. He just looked at me and said, so? You look like a new man or the same wreck. I laughed. A new man. Or at least someone pretending well. Pretending is allowed, he said, smiling. But you're really changing, aren't you? I think so, I said. I stopped checking. I stopped hoping. I realized, healing isn't dramatic. It's boring, slow, repetitive. Exactly, he said. The quiet victories are the ones that stick. I nodded. I even talked to my dad yesterday. About everything. No filters. And, he asked. He said I was right to feel hurt. That I should stop blaming myself. That I'm allowed to be angry, but also to move on. That's progress, he said. Small, steady, but real. I thought about texting her one last time. I typed a message, then deleted it. Again. And again. Each time, I realized something. I didn't need her words to validate my feelings. I didn't need her apology to move forward. I'm learning, I said quietly. That peace doesn't need closure. That strength doesn't need explanations. Omar nodded. Finally. Took you long enough to figure that one out. Better late than never, I said. I even rejoined the gym today. Started reading again. Things I ignored while waiting, hoping. Waiting for her, he asked. Yes, I admitted. For her approval, her attention, whatever she wanted me to feel. But now, I focus on me. And how does that feel? Good. Solid. Strange, but good, I said. I noticed something today. I laughed at a stupid meme. Out loud. Not for her. Not for anyone. Just me. That's your first step to freedom, he said. Not looking back, not checking names, not letting her occupy your mind. I nodded slowly. Family noticed too. My mom said I seem lighter. My sister joked I finally grew up. Did you tell them why? Omar asked. Some of it, I admitted. But mostly I just listened. Listened to their advice, their concern, their normalcy. It helped more than anything she could have said. See, he said. You don't need drama. You need life. The ordinary stuff. And look at you, you're finally living it again. I laughed, a real laugh this time. I didn't believe it was possible. I thought I'd always be checking her name, haunted by the past. You're not, he said. Not anymore. The truth hit me slowly, like sunlight through fog. I hadn't realized it until now. I was free. Free from the obsession, free from the lies, free from the quiet self-doubt that had consumed me. I'm proud of you, Omar said, watching me grin. Not for surviving. For choosing yourself. Choosing myself, I repeated. The words felt strange, powerful. It's enough. I don't need her. I don't need anything from her. I just need me. Exactly, he said. And that's how you start living again. Later that evening, I walked home, streets quiet, the city humming softly. My apartment didn't feel empty. It felt mine. I made tea, sat by the window, and didn't think about her. Not once. Not even when my phone buzzed with random notifications. I realized then, fully, that I had stopped checking her name. Not because I forced it. Not because I forgot. But because I had moved forward. Because I had chosen myself. And for the first time in months, I felt peace. Not loud, not dramatic, just steady. Enough. I was scrolling through my notifications when I saw her name. For a split second, my chest tightened, then I reminded myself, I was no longer hers. Hey, her text read. Simple. Casual. I stared at it. My thumb hovered over the screen. Should I respond? Should I ignore? Then I typed, hi. Simple. Polite. Nothing more. Her reply came almost instantly. I heard you've been doing well. I am, I wrote. Thanks for asking. There was a pause. Long enough for me to sip my coffee and think, she wasn't here to apologize. She wasn't here to explain. Just curiosity. Maybe pride. Can we meet? She typed. I laughed quietly. Not bitterly, not angrily. Just a soft laugh of someone who realized the game had changed. I don't think that's necessary, I replied. Why not? She asked. Because I don't need to. I've moved on. There was a longer pause. I imagined her frowning at her phone, searching for a way to draw me back. I didn't give her that satisfaction. You make it sound so easy, she typed. It's not easy, I wrote. It's choice. Every day. Not about forgetting you. About choosing me instead. Her next message came slower. Things didn't work out. You know, with him. Not like I thought. Not like you thought, I echoed silently. A ghost of sympathy brushed my mind. But I didn't linger. I typed, I'm sorry to hear that. Truly. But I hope you find what you're looking for. She replied, you don't sound hurt. You sound free. Because I am, I typed. I stopped waiting. Stopped hoping. Stopped needing approval. That's the freedom you don't get from betrayal. That's mine. There was no answer for a while. I wondered if she had expected tears, anger, begging. None of it came. Not from me. Finally, she wrote, I guess, karma has its way. I smiled. Karma doesn't need help. I already have mine. It's quiet. Steady. Peaceful. And it's enough. Her silence followed. No further messages. No attempts to justify, explain, or manipulate. I realized she wasn't the one controlling the story anymore. I was. My dignity, my choices, my life. Later, I called my sister. You wouldn't believe it, I said. She reached out. And, she asked. And I didn't give her anything, I said. Not anger. Not tears. Not attention. Just, polite words. That's all she gets. That's perfect, she said. That's the best revenge. You didn't need to prove anything. You just lived. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. It feels strange. Light. Empty, but in a good way. Good, she said. That's how it should feel. She had her turn. Now it's yours. I leaned back in my chair. Outside, the city hummed along, indifferent, beautiful. I realized how much my life had shifted. I didn't need to check names anymore. I didn't need to replay conversations, analyze silences, or beg for understanding. I texted Omar later that evening. She messaged me today. And, he asked. And I didn't bite. Didn't react. Didn't care about the drama she wanted to stir. I just answered politely and moved on. Exactly, he said. You can't control her, never could. But you can control yourself. And you just did. I smiled. It wasn't a dramatic smile, not a victorious one. It was the quiet satisfaction of someone who finally realized they had the last word without saying it at all. Peace, I said to him. I feel it for the first time in months. Real peace. Good, he said. Hold on to it. I put my phone down, looked out the window, and let the silence settle around me. No anger. No longing. No past tugging at me. Just me, finally whole, finally free. And that was the revenge. I sat on my balcony, phone forgotten, coffee gone cold. Omar called, as usual, checking in. "You sound different," he said. "I guess I am," I admitted. "Different, maybe lighter. Not empty, just me again." "Good," he replied. "That's what this was always about, finding you in all the noise she left behind." I laughed softly. Funny thing is, I keep replaying things in my head. I keep thinking about her, how I loved honestly. How she didn't. And I wonder if it still matters that I gave everything without holding back. "It does," Omar said firmly. "Always does. The way you love defines you, not the way she handled it." "You really think so?" I asked. My voice was quieter now, almost a whisper to myself. "I know so," he said. "And you should too." I leaned back, letting the night air fill the empty spaces inside me. I keep remembering our quiet nights. The way she laughed at my stupid jokes, the way I thought those moments were ours forever. I believed in us, fully. And that belief, that honesty, it feels like it was wasted. "Maybe it feels that way," Omar said, "but it's not wasted. It shaped you. Every word you spoke, every truth you held, it built the person sitting there on your balcony." I smiled faintly, thinking about how I had apologized so many times for feelings I didn't choose, how I had doubted myself when she was distant, how I had let her rewrite reality. And now, finally, I could see it clearly. "She rewrote reality," I said aloud. "But I wrote mine. Honestly. Fully. And no one can take that away." "Exactly," Omar said. "And one day, you'll realize that's more important than any apology she could give." I nodded, though he couldn't see me. I keep imagining talking to someone who's going through this, someone who feels small, hurt, used. I'd tell them, love honestly. Trust fully. Because that honesty isn't lost. It belongs to you. And that will always matter. "Couldn't have said it better," Omar replied. I laughed again. It's strange. I used to think love meant holding on. Now I know it means knowing when to let go. When to step back, even if your heart wants to hold tighter. That's courage, not weakness. "Absolutely," he said. "And you did it without bitterness, without revenge. That's what matters." I leaned forward on the railing, thinking about mornings I had woken up anxious, nights I had replayed every conversation, every glance. And now, for the first time, I felt a quiet pride. A steady, calm certainty that I had not compromised myself. "Do you ever regret it?" Omar asked. "No," I said. "Not for a second. I loved honestly, and I learned more from that love than I ever could have from pretending. Even the betrayal taught me something, about boundaries, about trust, about self-respect." "Good," he said. "That's all that matters." I stared at the horizon. You know, she taught me what betrayal feels like. But I taught myself what self-respect sounds like when it finally speaks. And that voice is louder than any heartbreak, louder than any apology or excuse she could give. "Perfect," Omar said. "Own that. Live that. Every day." "I will," I said. And I meant it. I closed my eyes for a moment, feeling the night wind brush my face. I didn't need closure. I didn't need her words. I had my own. I had my truth. I had the knowledge that loving honestly is never wasted, even when it's misplaced. Because in the end, the love I gave, without calculation, without hesitation, was mine to give. And the respect I reclaimed for myself, without anger, without shame, was mine to keep. She taught me what betrayal feels like, but I taught myself what self-respect sounds like when it finally speaks.